I flew halfway around the world with a diamond ring in my pocket and her family's blessing in my heart. I practiced my proposal speech in broken Thai for 3 months. I even learned to say forever the way she taught me. But when I got to her village, the only Thai word I needed was one she never taught me, poor husband. Because there he was, sitting at her kitchen table, bouncing their 2-year-old son on his knee like he'd never left. She looked at me through the screen door with eyes that said everything and nothing. 3 years of video calls, money transfers, and promises all of it crashing down in the time it takes to say, Sawasdee. I should have turned around right then. Should have caught the next flight back to Gold Coast. But I didn't. I stayed. And what happened next taught me that some mistakes don't just cost you money, they cost you everything you thought you knew about yourself. If our stories resonate with you, don't forget to like, comment, and tell us where you're watching from. This story was shared with us by one of our longtime viewers. He asked us not to share his name, but he wanted his experience heard. I'm standing outside Sudha's family compound in Surat Thani at 6 in the morning, jet-lagged and sweating through my best shirt. The ring box in my pocket feels like it weighs 10 pounds. I've been planning this moment for 8 months ever since she said yes when I asked her father's permission over video call. Her whole family was there, smiling and nodding. Her mother even cried. I sold my bar on the Gold Coast, liquidated everything. 57 years old and finally ready to start over with the woman I love. The taxi driver is looking at me funny, probably wondering why this old Farang is just standing here staring at a house. I pay him and watch his taillights disappear down the dirt road. That's when I hear the voices inside a man's voice mixing with Sudha's and a child laughing. My stomach drops. But I tell myself it's probably her brother visiting. She mentioned family coming and going all the time. I walk up to the wooden stairs and knock. The voices stop. Footsteps. Then Sudha opens the door, and her face goes white like she's seeing a ghost. Owen, she whispers. And it's not the happy surprise I expected. Behind her, I see him, mid-30s, lean from farm work, sitting at her kitchen table like he belongs there. A little boy with Sudha's eyes is climbing all over him, calling him Papa. My brain starts doing that thing where it tries to rationalize the impossible. Maybe he's babysitting. Maybe it's her cousin's kid. But then the man stands up, walks over, and puts his arm around Sudha's waist. The gesture is so natural, so automatic, that my entire world tilts sideways. This is Niran, Sudha says in English, her voice barely audible. My husband. The word hits me like a physical blow. Husband. I've been learning Thai for 3 years, and somehow I never learned that word until right now. The little boy, their son, is staring at me with curious eyes. He's beautiful. He looks exactly like Sudha did in the childhood photos she showed me. How old is he? 2? 3? I've been sending Sudha money for 3 years. 3 years of I love you messages, of planning our future together, of her telling me about her sick mother, about the rice farm struggling, about how much she needed me. Niran is looking at me with something between pity and annoyance. He says something to Sudha in rapid Thai. She responds, her voice getting higher, more defensive. I don't understand the words, but I understand the tone. He's not happy I'm here. And she's trying to explain something that can't be explained. I'm sitting on their porch now, trying to process what I just learned. 3 years, 47,000 Australian dollars, monthly transfers of 1,500, sometimes 2,000, when she had emergencies. Her mother's diabetes medication, the rice farm flooding, school fees for her niece. Every excuse now makes perfect sense in the worst possible way. The money went to her real family, her actual life, the life I was never part of. Niran brings me a cup of tea, which feels absurd under the circumstances, but I take it. My hands are shaking. He speaks some English better than I speak Thai. You send money long time? He asks. I nod. She never tell me about Farang boyfriend. Of course she didn't. Why would she tell her husband about her foreign bank account? I ask him how long they've been married. 7 year, he says. Before she get phone. Before she got the smartphone that let her find lonely Australian men on dating sites. The timeline is brutal in its clarity. She married him at 21, had their son, then discovered she could make more money in a month from foreign men than her husband made farming rice all year. I'm not even angry at him. He's a victim too, in his way. His wife has been living a double life, and he just found out the same time I did. She good woman, he says quietly, and I can hear the pain in his voice. But money very hard here. She finally comes outside. Her eyes are red, but she's not crying anymore. She sits down across from me, like we're about to have a normal conversation, like she can somehow explain away a husband and child. Owen, you must understand, she starts. And even now, after everything, her voice still does something to me, still makes me want to protect her. I never want to hurt you. But life here very difficult. I ask her about the wedding photos she sent me, the ones where she was supposedly marrying her cousin for visa purposes. Those pictures, they're fake? She looks down at her hands. No, Owen. Real wedding. But I tell you different story because I need help for my family. The worst part is how she says it like it's reasonable. Like lying to someone for 3 years about your entire existence is just practical problem solving. I pull out the ring box. Her eyes go wide. You were going to marry me? I ask, how exactly was that going to work? She starts crying again. And it kills me that even now, knowing what I know, I still want to comfort her. I think maybe Niran go work Bangkok. Maybe we could. She trails off, because even she can hear how insane it sounds. Her plan, apparently, was to somehow convince her husband to move away so she could marry her foreign boyfriend, the boyfriend who'd been subsidizing their entire life. I ask about their son. Mali never know about you, she says quickly. I keep separate. Mali. The boy's name is Mali. In 3 years of video calls, she never once mentioned him, never showed me his toys in the background, his clothes on the line, his existence anywhere in her carefully curated digital life. She created an entire fictional version of herself for me while using my money to raise someone else's child. The sophistication of the deception is almost impressive. Almost. By noon, half the village knows about the Farang who came to propose to married Suda. I can see people walking by the house more slowly than usual, trying to get a look at the drama unfolding. Some of the older women are talking in clusters, and I catch enough Thai words to know they're not surprised. Farang boyfriend seems to be common knowledge here. I'm the only one who didn't know. Niran's friends start showing up, 3 men around his age, all farmers, all looking at me like I'm something that crawled out of a rice paddy. They're not hostile exactly, but they're protective of him. One of them speaks English well enough to ask me directly, "You know she married?" When I shake my head, they exchange looks. Apparently, this isn't the first time. 2 Farang before you, the English speaker says. German man, American man. Same story. My blood turns to ice. I'm not even her first foreign boyfriend. I'm her 3rd, maybe her 4th. This is her business model. Suda is inside making lunch, acting like this is all perfectly normal, like it's just another day where her husband and her foreign boyfriend happen to be in the same place. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. I ask Niran's friend about the other men. German man, he come one time, very angry. American man, he stay 2 week, try to take her America. The casual way he says it tells me everything. This village has seen this movie before. Western men showing up with rings and promises, discovering they're not her first or only or real relationship. I'm a cliché in a place I've never been. After lunch, I'm walking around the village trying to clear my head when I see them. 2 kids playing in front of the house next door, mixed-race children, clearly half Western. Light skin, brown hair, European features mixed with Thai ones. My stomach sinks even before I work up the courage to ask their grandmother who's watching them. Half German, she says proudly in broken English, pointing to the older boy. Half American, she says about the girl. Both fathers sent money. Both fathers thought they were Suda's only foreign boyfriend. The German man came to visit 3 years ago around the same time I started sending money. The American lasted longer, nearly moved here before he found out about Niran. These children are Suda's cousins, but the pattern is clear. This isn't just about Suda. This whole extended family has figured out that Western men are a renewable resource. Each cousin, each sister, each neighbor finds her lonely foreign boyfriend, tells him about her poverty, her dreams, her love for him specifically. The money flows in, supporting the real families, the actual lives, the children who will grow up never knowing their foreign fathers. I think about my own situation differently now. Suda didn't randomly find me on a dating site. This was strategic. They probably have a system, maybe. She wasn't even the one messaging me at first. Maybe they have someone who speaks perfect English, someone who knows exactly what lonely Western men want to hear, someone who crafts the perfect personality for each mark. The grandmother is still smiling at me, probably wondering if I'm another potential father. If I'll disappear back to Australia and send money for 20 years, never knowing that my Thai girlfriend was actually a married woman with a whole life I was never part of. The children go back to playing, and I realize they're not just symbols of other men's mistakes. They're symbols of a system that works. For the families here, we're not people. We're retirement plans. That evening, Niran and I end up talking alone while Suda puts Malay to bed. He's been drinking rice wine, and his English gets better when he's drunk. Or maybe he just gets braver. "You good man, Owen," he says. And I can tell he means it. "Suda, she tell me you send money for her mother medicine, for school, for house repair." I ask if he knew about me from the beginning. He shakes his head. "I know she have phone money, but she tell me she sell fruit at market. Every month, phone money come, but she never go market." It took him 2 years to figure out his wife was getting regular payments from foreigners. I very angry first time. We fight many day. But Mali need food. Rice farm make no money 3 year now. Climate change, water problem, government take our land for road. His voice gets bitter. Rich people in Bangkok, they never hungry. Here, we hungry all time. I ask what he wanted to do when he found out about her foreign boyfriends. "I want to leave. Take Mali, go work construction Bangkok. But Suda mother very sick, really sick. Not lie. She need medicine every day. Cost more than I make in month." The horrible thing is, I believe him. Everything Suda told me about her mother's diabetes was probably true. The money I sent really did pay for medicine, for food, for repairs. It just also supported a husband and child I never knew existed. German man, he very rich. He send big money for 2 year. When he stop, Suda find you. I'm replacement income. When one foreign boyfriend stops paying or gets suspicious, they find another one. American man. He find out about me. Very angry. Say he call police. But what crime? Suda never take his money by force. She never promised to marry him. She just not tell whole truth. Niran has a point. What crime exactly has been committed here? She never signed a contract promising to be single. She never legally agreed to anything. She just let me believe what I wanted to believe, and I kept sending money without ever verifying who I was sending it to. The next morning, I walk through the village with different eyes. Now I notice things I missed yesterday. The new tin roofs on several houses, probably paid for by foreign boyfriends. The smartphones that every woman seems to have, even though most of the men are still using old flip phones. The children wearing name-brand clothes in a place where most adults dress in worn-out work shirts. There's a Western Union office in the next village over. It's the only business that looks prosperous. The woman running it knows me by name. Apparently I'm famous here as Suda's Australian boyfriend. "You come visit finally," she says cheerfully. I ask how many transfers I've made over the years. She checks her computer. 47 transfer. Total 1,047,000 baht. About 47,000 Australian dollars. Exactly what I calculated. But she shows me something else. dozens of other Western names sending money to addresses in this village. John from Texas, Hans from Germany, Robert from Canada. All of us supporting our Thai girlfriends, none of us knowing about the others. The Western Union woman treats it like any other business transaction, because to her, it is. This isn't fraud in her mind, it's international commerce. Western men have money and loneliness. Thai women have time and need. It's a transaction that works for everyone, as long as nobody asks too many questions. I think about the economics of it. $1,500 a month is nothing to a bar owner from Gold Coast. It's less than I spent on beer in a good month. But here, it's a family's entire living wage. It pays for food, medicine, school, house, repairs, everything. From their perspective, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you find lonely foreign men and let them support your real life? The moral complexity is making my head spin. I came here feeling betrayed and used, but now I'm seeing a village full of people who found a way to survive in an economy that forgot about them. That afternoon, Sudha asks to talk to me privately. We walk to the edge of the rice fields where her family farms. It's beautiful here, endless green stretching to mountains in the distance. For a moment, I can imagine the life I thought we were going to have. She takes my hand, and even knowing everything I know, I don't pull away. Owen, I know you angry. I know you hurt. But maybe we can find way to make this work. I stare at her. Make what work, Sudha? You're married. You have a child. She looks out over the rice paddies. In Thailand, many men have two wives. Not legal maybe, but normal. You could build house here, close to my house. You could be like second husband. The audacity of it takes my breath away. She wants me to become a permanent fixture in her complicated life, to build a house next to the house I've been paying for, where she lives with her real husband and their child. You lonely in Australia, right? You tell me many time. Here, you not lonely. You have family, you have me, sometime. And you like Thailand, you always say you want to live here. Part of me wants to laugh at the insanity of it. Part of me is horrified that she thinks this is a reasonable solution. But there's another part, a part that scares me that's actually considering it. What do I have back in Australia? I sold my bar. My ex-wife remarried years ago. My kids are grown and scattered. I came here to start over, and now I'm 57 years old with no plan B. Other Farang man do this. Sudha continues. German man, he come back sometime. He have room in village. Girlfriend here. Not me. Different girl. But same situation. He happy now. She's describing some kind of expat retirement community, built on systematic deception. Foreign men who've accepted that their Thai wives are actually married to other people, but who've decided to stay anyway because the alternative is going back to empty lives in expensive countries. Sudha takes me to meet Klaus, the German man she mentioned. He's in his 60s, living in a small house on the outskirts of the village. When we arrive, he's sitting on his porch with a young Thai woman who's clearly not his age-appropriate partner. Ah, the Australian, Klaus says in accented English. I heard about you. Welcome to the club. His Thai girlfriend, he introduces her as Porn, speaks almost no English, but she's friendly and brings us beer. Klaus has been here for 3 years, ever since he found out his fiancée was married to someone else. First 6 months, I was very angry, like you, he tells me. I demand my money back. I threaten to call embassy. I make big scene. But then I think, what am I going back to? Cold weather, expensive everything, no one to care if I live or die. Porn is 30 years old, married with 2 children. Her husband works in a factory in Bangkok and comes home once a month. Klaus pays for her time, for her family's expenses, and in return, he has companionship, someone to cook for him, someone to care about him. Is not same as German wife, he admits, but is better than being alone in Munich, watching television until I die. I ask if he loves her. Klaus laughs. Love? What is love at my age? She is kind to me. She makes me feel useful. Her children call me grandfather. Is more than I had in Germany. His arrangement isn't exactly what Suda is proposing for me, but it's close. He's paying to be part of a family that isn't quite his family, in a relationship that isn't quite a relationship. You think I am pathetic, old man, Klaus says, reading my expression. Maybe you are right. But I wake up every morning next to someone who smiles when she sees me. Can you say same thing in Australia? The question hits harder than I want to admit. I can't say that. I haven't been able to say that for years. I spend my last night in the village sitting outside Suda's house, listening to her family's evening routine. Niran is helping Mali with homework. Suda is cooking dinner. They sound like what they are, a normal family. A family that I've been supporting without knowing it, but a real family nonetheless. Inside my backpack is a return ticket to Gold Coast, leaving tomorrow afternoon. Also inside is a bank statement showing my life savings, what's left after liquidating everything to start over in Thailand. It's not enough to buy another bar, but it's enough to build a house here, enough to live simply for several years, enough to become Klaus. Suda comes out and sits beside me. You decide, she asks. I ask her what would happen to Niran if I stayed. Niran, good man. He find work, maybe Bangkok, maybe here. We still family, but different kind family. She makes it sound so simple, like rearranging lives and hearts and marriages is just a matter of logistics. I never mean to hurt you, Owen. I just try to take care of everyone. My mother, my husband, my son. Now maybe take care of you too. The thing that kills me is that I think she means it. In her mind, she's not a scammer or a criminal. She's a woman trying to juggle impossible circumstances, and she genuinely believes she can make everyone happy if she just manages the situation correctly. I think about Klaus's question, what am I going back to? An empty apartment, maybe a job at someone else's bar, weekends watching sports alone. At 57, the chances of finding real love, real partnership, real purpose, they're not good. Here, I could have a version of those things. Not the version I dreamed of, but something. If I stay, I ask, what exactly would we be to each other? Suda thinks for a moment. We be special friends. You important to me, Owen. Not same as husband, but important. Special friends. After 3 years of I love you, messages and promises of forever, we'd be special friends. I wake up on Klaus's couch the next morning, having accepted his offer to think it over away from Suda's house. He's making German-style breakfast, and Porn is getting her children ready for school. It's domestic and peaceful and completely artificial. You decide? Klaus asks, the same question Suda asked last night. I tell him I'm taking the afternoon flight back to Gold Coast. He nods like he expected this. Most men, they cannot accept the truth. They need fairy tale, even when fairy tale make them miserable. Porn kisses his cheek before leaving with her children, and for a moment, I see genuine affection between them. It's not romantic love, but it's something. You will regret this, Klaus says after she's gone. Not today, not next month, but in 5 years when you're sitting alone in Australia, you will remember this morning and wish you were braver. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm throwing away my last chance at companionship, at purpose, at feeling needed by someone. But I can't do it. I can't build a life on a foundation of lies, even comfortable lies, even lies that work for everyone involved. I walk back to Suda's house to say goodbye. She's feeding Mali breakfast, and Niran is getting ready for work. They look like the family. They are the family they were before I existed, and will continue to be after I leave. You go back Australia, Suda says when she sees my backpack. It's not a question. I go back to Australia. She nods, not surprised. You good man, Owen. Maybe too good for this world. She walks me to the road where I'll wait for the taxi to the airport. I keep your number. Maybe someday you change mind. I almost laugh. Even now, she's keeping the door open. Still managing the situation, still maintaining her options. The taxi arrives, and I get in without looking back. But I can feel her watching me leave, probably already calculating how long it will take to find my replacement. Somewhere over the Pacific, at 35,000 feet, I finally let myself feel the full weight of what happened. 3 years of my life. $47,000. All of it based on a lie so complete that I'm still finding new pieces of it. But the money isn't what hurts most. It's the realization that the woman I loved never existed. Sudha, the struggling single woman. Sudha, the devoted daughter. Sudha, who dreamed of our future together, she was fiction. A character created specifically for me, maintained perfectly for 3 years through daily messages and video calls and carefully cropped photos. The real Sudha is married mother who found a way to monetize foreign loneliness. She's not evil. She's not even dishonest in her own mind. She's pragmatic in a way that Western men like me can't understand because we've never been truly desperate. I think about Klaus again. Maybe he's the smart one. Maybe accepting the lie and living it anyway is better than returning to the truth of an empty life. But I can't do it. I need things to be real, even if real means alone. The passenger next to me strikes up a conversation. He's returning from a business trip to Bangkok. When he asks about my vacation, I tell him I went to propose to someone. "How'd it go?" he asks. "She said yes." I lie, because the truth is too complicated for airplane small talk. He congratulates me, and I smile and nod like a man whose romantic dreams just came true, instead of one whose romantic dreams never existed in the first place. When I get home to Gold Coast, my apartment looks exactly the same, but I feel like a different person. The man who left here 2 weeks ago was naive enough to believe in fairy tales. The man who returned knows better. It's been 6 months since Thailand, and I still get messages from Sudha, not every day like before, but often enough to remind me that I'm still on her roster of possibilities. "How you doing, Owen? I miss you. Maybe you visit again sometime." I don't respond, but I don't block her either. There's something pathetic about that, but I can't quite bring myself to cut the last thread. I found work managing a sports bar in Surfer's Paradise. It's not mine, and it's not the same, but it pays the bills. My co-workers are younger, and they think I'm crazy for turning down a life in Thailand with a beautiful woman. "So, she was married," one of them said. "Big deal. You could have been living in paradise." Paradise. I've stopped trying to explain why that paradise would have been hollow. Why building a life on lies is still building a life on lies, even if the weather's better. Sometimes I wonder what Klaus is doing. If he's happy with his arrangement, if Porn's children still call him grandfather, if he ever regrets choosing comfortable fiction over difficult truth. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed. If Sudha really could have managed the situation, like she claimed. If I could have learned to be content with being someone's special friend. Late at night, when the loneliness gets heavy, I think about Marley, the little boy who calls another man Papa, whose life I supported for 3 years without knowing he existed. He'll grow up never knowing about the Australian who paid for his food and toys and medicine. Maybe that's better. Maybe some illusions should be protected. I've started dating again Australian women my own age, with complicated histories and realistic expectations. It's harder than falling in love with a fantasy, but it's real. And after Thailand, real is all I can handle. Last week, I got a different kind of message from Thailand. Not from Sudha, but from Klaus. "Owen, my friend, I wanted to tell you something. Porn left me. Her husband found good job in Bangkok. They moved family back together. She say thank you for helping, but they don't need German grandfather anymore." His message continued, "I know you think I was foolish, old man. Living in dream. Maybe you were right. But for 3 years, I had purpose. I had someone who smiled when I came home. Now I sit alone again. But now I am alone in Thailand instead of Germany. Same loneliness. more humidity. He's moving back to Munich next month. His Thai adventure is over, and he's returning to the same empty life he tried to escape. But at the end of his message, he wrote something that stuck with me. I do not regret trying, Owen. I regret many things in my life. But I do not regret believing in possibility. I think about that word, possibility. For 3 years, I believed in the possibility of love, of starting over, of being needed by someone. The possibility turned out to be fake, but the feeling was real. The hope was real. The sense of purpose I had when I was taking care of Suda, even though I was really taking care of her husband and child, that feeling was real. Maybe that's what Klaus meant. Maybe the value wasn't in the truth of the situation, but in how it made us feel about ourselves. I still don't know if I made the right choice. I know I made my choice. And some days, when the loneliness feels manageable and the truth feels solid under my feet, I think it was the right one. Other days, I'm not so sure, but I'm learning to live with uncertainty. At 57, maybe that's the only wisdom worth having. Knowing that some questions don't have good answers, only honest ones.